Microphone check. There's no sound. Why? Why there's no sound? What's going on here? Control 9. Microphone check. Oh, there's sound. It's okay. Hotel Senuhena Senut ET Ren Isha Kandubu Kemet. Hope you're doing well. If somebody knows, okay, never mind. I was trying to use the other computer with a better image quality, but the slides, the pictures wouldn't show. That's the way it is. So we can take from where we left off last time. What was the last slide? Describe the palette of the scribe, a tool for cutting, and a papyrus. I have shared the invite link, so anybody who wants to get on the panel is free to do so. Otherwise, you have the chat, because those who get on the panel must have some sort of option for video, whether it's a webcam or PC, tablet. For the record, you notice, some of you might have noticed that some people claim that, well, they were trying to holler at me but couldn't reach me, or somehow, some way. And it's a great lie, because I don't screen the calls and everybody's free to call in. But a lot of people just like to do debating in comments. So we're going to deal with the Kemetic culture, the hieroglyphic, the Medu nTr. So we have seen that this seated scribe is from the 5th dynasty, and the date is between 2500 and 2350 BC. So this is 4,000 years old. Those people who tell you about different schools of way of life, school of thoughts, have they shown you any artifacts that are ancient? And if they have, which artifacts was it? How ancient was it? This one right here is made of granite. Well, I don't know what they call it, the granite, but it's a servant, a funerary servant of the king Amenhotep III. Amenhotep III. Now they wrote Amenophis. It's just a French way. That's a Greek way, really. So this is Akhenaten's father. You have the date here, around 1300 BC. And it was found in his tomb in the Valley of the Kings. So it is made of granite. And it was taken in the location southeast of Aswan, just like the diorite. I'm not sure if you call it diorite in English, but that's another material. As usual, the reference to the bottom right corner. This one here. It's made of quartzite, and it's also a funerary servant, but this time of the scribe Pataui. It's still around 1300 BC. And we are told that the statuette or statue of the funerary servant replaced the dead regarding his course in the netherworld. Now this one is Neferrenpet. Those who take the class must know what Renepet means. And it's a fun thing because when you think about it, Neferrenpet is something that we happen to say once a year, but in a different language. So he is presenting a stele around 1500 BC. We are told that the south of the country has this material. I don't know how you call it in English, but that's a French spelling here. And it is sand transformed into rock. When it is freshly cut, it is white. The Egyptians called it the pretty white stone. And those who take the classes know how to say white and know how to say stone as well. It is the stone of most of the temple from the New Kingdom. Another material. It is a man presenting a statue to Osiris. Now this time is 26th dynasty. The grain of the stone is very thin. It is the stone of Bechen or Bechen of the Egyptians that they used to take in Wadi Hamamat, a desert valley between the Nile and the Red Sea. I will look for artifacts where the glyphs are clearer, but here we have Utep Dinesus here. We have the neb underneath, and I presume that the rest of the glyphs go on the side there. Here we still have Utep Dinesu. I'm not sure about that word, and then we have the Wab. Now this is an employee in the office of Iabu between 1800 and 1700. This is a crystalline stone of the same family of diorite. Now, most likely a man and his wife. It's made of limestone. It is Nefer Hebef. So here we can dissect this word into three. nefer, heb, and f being the suffix pronoun. Now there's his wife and his son. Okay, his son was there. We don't really see the face, it's damaged, but we can see the body. The limestone is the stone that is the most widespread in the north of the country. Let me change the sound. Like that one. And it is the quality of it varies depending on where it was taken. I'm sure this will be Kemet. Kemet. Nice acacia wood. It's a statuette of Cheti, Chancellor of the King of Lower Egypt. Now this is between 2300 and 2000. I'm sorry, yes, 2300 and 2000 BC. And it was found when they were digging in a place called Achmim. I've shown this one in video more than once. Around his neck he has something that kind of looks like some kente cloth. We are told this is a statuette of a man around 2400 to 2200 BC, so this is well over 4000 years old. We haven't been told that this is a Nubian. This one is a statue of the guardian of the treasury called Ib, and we know a word that is pronounced Ib. This is between 1500 and 1400 BC. Now the material here, that's the French name, le buis. It grows in Europe, in the Middle East, or the Near East, and in North Africa, but not in Egypt. Oh snap. Yeah, I will charge my headset. One, two. 1 2 1 2. Microphone check. How's the sound now? One two microphone check. Okay, that's good. Here I look for better, I look for clearer glyphs. Look at the dates here. (1200 BC). Now that's very recent. Crystal rock of the of Horus or Heru, between 300 and 30 BC. There's like a 300-year gap, really. Safe to say it's late period. But now this is between 2000 and 1700 BC. Still a 300-year gap, but very ancient. Now this stela looks nice. This is a stela of the chief of worksmen, the scribe and the sculptor Irti Sen. Now, it's during the reign of Neb Hepet Ara Montuhotep between 2000 and 1982 BCE, 11th dynasty, made of limestone. Well, I told that on this stela, Irti Sen is bragging about his technical achievements, for lack of better words, that he managed to accomplish, and it is one of the very rare Egyptian texts talking about art. And here we'll have the reference C14. Now, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Okay. Inside of the Shenu, we have Sarah Menchu Hotep. Then we have Ankjet. Before that, we have Nebti, Sematawi, and Sudbiti. Here we have the Hotep Dinesu. Then we have the eye and the throne, and this time we do have the determinative of the seated person with the beard. It's a determinative for a deity. It's not common to see the eye and the throne touching each other. Then we have the basket, the biliteral. Then we have the pillar. Then we have the hand, and we have, well, you see how the nude looks here? So we have a place here. Underneath, we have Peret Kheru, Te Heneket. Doesn't look too well, but we have the Ha. Here we have the Ka, the Aped, we have the Sesh Menechet. Then we have Chet Nebet. The Te of the loaf of bread doesn't appear, but if you're familiar with the grammar, you know that even though it's not written, we will still say Chet Nebet. Then we have Neferet, Wabet. And for the record, for those who consider taking classes, I want you to know that when I give classes, you will have the hieroglyphic transcript, which will look like this. So you will not have to struggle trying to recognize and identify the glyphs on the original artifacts. You will have the hieroglyphic transcript, and then over time, and we practice, and with the exercise and the different slides that we go to, you will get familiar with reading from original artifacts. And of course, you will not have just the hieroglyphic transcript. You will have the transliteration, the pronunciation, and the translation. At the bottom, I don't know what happened with the glyphs. You would think it's another scribe, or if he was the same scribe, that he was in a rush. Here we have the Senate game, which is a biliteral. Then we have the phonetic complement, which is the whip of water. Then we have the chord. Then we have the Querchic, that gives us one name. Then we have this glyph here, this altar or offering table, written with the two phonetic complements. And it's very funny when we see the loaf of bread compared to the stool. Really, typically the loaf of bread will be at the same level as the stool and looking a bit larger than this, but you know, the scribe here, I don't know what happened. And we have Medu and we have Sa F. Actually, we have Medu F, Sa F. They have changed the location of this statue. Here we have different weaponry. We have a bow, different type of chisels. I will have Usir Wab Imen. Usir Wab and Imen. I think I made a video of this not long ago. But inside of the Sheni we have Usir Neb Hehe on the Hehe. There's a lot of symbolism on that artifact right there. And you can tell that they've changed its location. Because here it was within a glass amongst other artifacts, but lately, if I'm not mistaken, the recent video that I've made, it's standing by itself. Recently in the Louvre Museum, they have actually changed the display of some artifacts. They try to group some together, for example, about scribes, and it's a bit like, I don't know if they really do that in America, but in Europe, in those places where you buy your groceries, a supermarket, they very often change the location of products. You know, they change the aisles, and you know, and I don't know why they do that, but they do that on a regular basis. So they have did kind of the same in the Louvre Museum not long ago. Ready F Ankneb Wasneb. How well does it look here? Now you see, right there we have the Semite, and right there we have the Nubian. And some people have the nerve to tell us that Semites were black. Now, sheet of wood sculpted and painted. around 1300 BC. And we see the neighbors of Egypt, and it says un Asiatique et un Nubien, which means an Asiatic and a Nubian. It's kind of blurry because it's very small, and I had to blow it up. And we are really at a distance, this artifact, because a lot of time you have a piece of glass, you know. Tell us that this is the god Bes. This is between 2000 and 1700 BC. This is a model of a tomb area. We have the offering table and a shrine. See here, we have different baskets, we have different type of cloth. We actually have everything that you find, anything that's physical that you find in a society. Then you will see jewelry, you will see wooden boxes. We have seen a bow, a hatchet. So I did not really dwell on the swords, but we do have some monuments for warfare. There's always plenty of vases. There's also chairs and tables, but I'm not sure if I took pictures of them, but I think I have. But I have taken many videos of it. Now here, how well does it look here? We have Sarah and Het F. Then it looks like Yames. Now this here kind of looks like the neat glyph to me, but I'm not sure. And we have Sa, so it might be Sa neat. Then we had the Onkajet. Right there. We have Imak Kher, Usir Necher Neb Jedu. Now the Sepat glyph here serves as a determinative, I believe. Then it looks like Su, and then we have the Sesh, and I cannot really tell what's happening below. It looks like what we have there in this column is the same as this column here. And we might have the word Ushabti sharp T spelled there. And you can also recognize the plow is holding a couple. Same here. So that's the biliteral mer, MR. Well, this has to be best here. This is probably a lotus flower. Some people might say, well, this is a radio or a device that plays music, and this is like the speaker. You know, some people will say that. This looks like shoe. Metal, bronze, copper. Yeah, I told you about the knives. I have knives, daggers, a couple of hatchets. Coisas o ser. This is alabaster. Looks very nice. Looks smooth. It's shiny. Now here you have, just like in the Temple of Karnak, the hypostyle hall. The columns are similar, but this is much smaller. Now some of you have seen this video format where they talk about the convention with the coloring for males and females. This is Bechu and his family around 1500 BC, beginning of the 18th dynasty, made of painted limestone. We are told that the limestone is painted in order to better imitate life, but this painting is conventional. Yellow ochre for the skin of women, and red ochre for the skin of males or men. So that's why her skin looks like that. It's not me who said that. I did not make it up. This is a description from the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. Now here's very interesting. For those of you who know the glyph, tep and hair, we have both here. We have hair tep. The hair is quite damaged, but tep is almost complete here. It's just that part there. It's kind of damaged. And we can see that well, at least we have the coloring, but I have a video where we can see the hieroglyph, the face from the front. And when we look at the nose and the lips, it's much more different than what we are used to seeing on the hieroglyphic transcript. Here we have Neferhetep or Neferhotep and his wife between 1300 and 1200 BC. It comes from Der el Medina. Now, I have filmed that before. It's kind of rare. We can see the motif. We can see the grill. So it's for people in training. So we have a cat, and here we have a lion, and this one here, they might give us the name. Well, I don't know how to translate that in English. And we cannot really see it too well, but this is also a tool where someone practiced. We have the red color and the black color, but we cannot really see too well in the picture. Now this false door is around 1900 BC. 1900 BC. So the three ripple of water give us Mu, but we cannot see what's on the top. I suspect that it's a determinative. That it's not just the word Mu, but we have the water as a determinative or ideogram. So underneath we have Heneket. Then we have Sennecher. This is the down arrow, the biliteral. Then we have Merhet. Then we have Het Nebet, and here the loaf of bread appears. Now at the top we have Meri. Here we have Web Waout. How is it? Is it called Aha? Is it called Aha? But this is the word for palace. Or it might be Ah. Let me double check. My memory escapes me now. Yes, it's Ah. Ain. And then the, well, your normal H, but our strong H. Oh, actually it was Mu. Not determinative. Ready F Mu. Here's a jewelry. Now mind you, this here is between 2000 and 1700 BC. Honestly, when you look at this jewelry, would you think that this is like 1500 BC, 3000 years old? There's different dates, of course. I think this dress is about 2000 years old. Yeah, between 2000 and 1700 BC. You see here, this box, this wooden box here? Would you think as well that it's probably like 3000 years old? You see, instruments for music, I'm telling you, when it comes to society, you see about everything. Now this is a lira. The chords are missing. Tambourine. Sistrum. Isis. This one looks like the ball in baseball. This one here is a serpent game of the king Per Ibsen around 2700 BC. $4,700 old. Now, as for those here, they are used for the snake game or serpent game, and it's from the Nagada II period around 3500 to 3100 BC. This is 5,000 years old. Now here we do actually have a Senate game. In the pounds. It's not easy to read for most people, but we have User, Ma'at, Ra, Setep, and Ra. Here we have Sa, Ra, Neb, Kha'u. And here we have Ara, Mesu, Meri, Imen. And it looks like the Ankh Meri Set or Sete. it's really for experienced people here. So do not be afraid. It takes practice to be able to distinguish the glyphs here, you know. But we have Nesubiti at the top. Here we have Sarah, and here once again we have, I cannot tell what's at the bottom, but it looks like some sort of, looks like the Ram. But we have Ra here, we have Iman, we have the Mer here, and the ripple of water. And at the bottom we have the Ankh, and then we have Mira. You see here, those baboons, most likely represent representations of Jehuti or thought. You see their hands? That's a typical position of prayer or adoration. And you can see that their hands are at the same level. So once again, when you see on papyri or on a papyrus, one hand that is further in the front than the other one, or one arm that is further in front of the other one, is just so that you can see both arms, like I've said. And here is the proof. Because on those statues, we don't see one arm or one hand further front. They are at the same level. All it takes is observation. I will do a screen print of this. Guess who came to join us? The brother who doesn't want to show his face. It's the same old thing. It's the same old thing, my G. And it was quite amusing to see you stating that indeed Osama bin Laden was black. But one day you show your face, you know. One day you will, maybe. That's all it takes. Yeah, I saw you send a private message, but you know, I don't really feel like it, you know. Now let me do a screen print so I can use this as a thumbnail. And I'm talking about the positions with the hands up. Bear with me. I'm gonna change the thumbnail. Oh, we have Beverly Gum. How you doing? It's been a while. Feel free with your comments and questions. I see that the brother who doesn't want to show his face is still there. See, back in the days, I used to, let him speak a little bit, and then, But... So, but feel free to use the chat, though. You don't want to show your face, you don't have to, but you can use the chat. So feel free. I'm not reading your private messages, brother. I'm just in the mood for that. I wonder why you come so often, because you've been dissing me so many times. Now here, you can have an idea of how large, huge the structures are in Kemet. Because there, you have some pylons. Here you have this large statue. Here you have the face. And I have to double check, but I think this is what is used on Sheikh Anta Diop's book cover. Is it the one? That's not the one. It's not the one. It looks like it, but it's not the one. Sekhmet or Sekhmet, carrying the Ankh on her left hand, at least on those two statues. This is during the reign of Amenhotep III, Akhenaten's father. Those three statues are Mentuhotep or Mentuhotep, who is the vizier of Sesostris. Sesostris is really Senuseret. Sesostris the first and Amenemhat the second. And you see the date around 1900 BC. We are told that Mentuhotep was one of the first men of state that was given the privilege of being in a life-size statue in a temple, that of Amun in Karnak. And we have the three references for the three statues. Look at the size of the feet. This is Seti the second, around 1200 BC. This is Ramesses the second. Something happened with the nose. It's the same here. If you look around the nose area, something happened. It will tell you that it was accidents. Accidents that tend to happen around the nose so often. Like this one here is blurry, but it's the same with the nose. This is Wahib Ra, governor of Upper Egypt. But this is the end of the 26th dynasty, around 1500 BC. I'm sorry, 500 BC. This is the great intendant Hekat F. Nacht. This one is a royal scribe Saiset, and he is also the chief intendant of granaries. Around 1200 BC. In the reigns of Ramesses II and Meren-Ptah. You see the nose area? I don't think we have any name for that one. Now here, it's very nice to read. Well, Nebtawi. Of Usel, Cheperu, Ra, Meri Imen, Sara, Nebchau, Seti, Mer, and Ptah. I think that might be Ramesses II if my memory doesn't escape me, or if my memory doesn't fail me. Yes, Ramesses II. 1200 BC. From Abydos. Name, dates, and places. Hey! Well, earlier I forgot to put Beverly's message. And we have the good brother Haile Mariam all the way in Bermuda. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, because I have the background music now. And as a matter of fact, I will change it. It's been playing for a while. I'll be right back. I'm back. Kali is letting me know that he can hear. That's good. So, looks like Heru or Horus presenting the Ankh in front of Lamis II. And we can see the coloring of the red ochre, and we can see where it has faded away. Here, in almost all of the face of the hawk-headed Horus. Around the shoulder of Ramesses II, and around some part of his face as well. It says Ramesses, it says the king Ramesses II amongst the gods, 1275 BC, from Abydos. They're showing you the numbers in Medu nTr. Now earlier I read Ha, that's the glyph for Ha, which stands for 1,000. So it was really used for multitude, because a lot of times on some original artifacts they will mention, you know, 100 pieces of bread, 100 ox, 100 birds or fowl, and it's not to be understood as literally 100, but it's like, you know, like when we say, I told you 1,000 times. Oh, I think this might be the artifact where I have shown King of Kemet. But right there we have Kemet. It's not very easy to tell. You have to be very familiar because it is so small. But you have the I6 glyph, the loaf of bread, and the newt glyph. But if that's the correct artifact, it should say King of Kemet somewhere. But never mind. See, that's what I was telling you about earlier. This is the I6 glyph, the loaf of bread, and the newt glyph. So this spells Kemet. The newt glyph being the determinative for a place. Here we have Hemet Nesu, Uret. The Hem glyph is quite different than the hieroglyphic transcript. Not too different, but somehow kind of different. I don't see Nesu Kemet or King of Kemet, but I think it is this artifact though. But I made a video about it a long time ago, but it should be on my channel still. This stela is talking about the healing of the princess Baktan. Now, I don't know what the Tan might be. You know, they might have used a different pronunciation. It comes from the temple of Khunsu in Karnak. It says that we are discovering how the pharaoh Ramesses II would have saved his stepsister or sister-in-law, the princess Baktan. They tell us Syria in parentheses. I'm sorry, the princess of Baktan by sending to her a well-being statue of Khonsu. It's a bit difficult to translate that long name. It's like Khonsu that does his plans in Thebes, you know. And his stela was dedicated to the gods of Thebes. And people used to go to those gods of Thebes in order to settle their human affairs. Judging by the head style, the feathers, that will be Amun or Imen. I've made a video about this artifact that we're seeing here. See, the funny thing is that here they're saying the god Amun to the right is kissing the king Thutmose IV. But we have here, see that one? Yes. You see here? We have the feathers here on the right. Just like, well, here we cannot really see the feather because it's too much of a close-up. But here we can see the crown. And here we have the cobra. So this is the king on the left and Amun on the right. And here they tell us, you know, à droite, it means to the right. Okay. So here they say that that he's kissing. Amun is kissing Thutmose IV. Here they have the same position. They are facing each other. And what do they say? Thutmose IV facing Amun. So they have the same position. On one hand they're kissing, on one hand they're facing each other. It's very strange. But hey. Heru or Hathor, you can tell by the cow's ear. Once again, Heru. Now here, at the bottom, I don't know if you can see my cursor. We have the folded cloth, we have the star, and we have the leg. So we have Seba and Neb F, Sesh, Nesu, M, Sat. Some people might pronounce it Set. It looks like Ma'at. Then I cannot really tell the rest around here. But here we have Ra, Mes, so that's Ramses. So the king Ramses II, under the protection of the goddess, of the cow goddess Hathor, 1200 BC. It was found in Der el Medine, made of limestone. We are told that the goddess, under her shape of a cow, is carrying an emblem around her neck. It's a necklace, and it's coming out of a I don't know if I should say bouquet, but something of papyrus. Ram-headed person, so who could that be? You know who that is, right? There's not many ram-headed deities. God with the head of a ram, probably Amen-Ra. We are told that this statue might have been mutilated by the agents of the king Akhenaten. Some people want us to believe that Akhenaten was a good guy and everybody else was corrupt. Oh, I did not recognize it. Here, I mean, you know, there's this reflection on the window. But this is indeed the glyph for nTr or incense. It says the hand of the king is raising incense towards the face of Amen, who is the cow of his mother, or Kamut F. And the inscription specifies that the relief has been restored. This one is nice as well. Nice. Anybody that's taking Medu nature classes with me or anybody else, anybody that's learning Medu nature, that's a great artifact to practice with. Now, this is most likely nTr because we have the nTr glyph. We can tell this is nTr from the bottom, even though we don't see what's on the top. So this is probably nTr. Now here we have the Heka scepter. Then we have the here, which is the phonetic complement, I presume. We have the papyrus roll, which most of the time is a determinative. This is got in a reference Y1, if I'm not mistaken. And here we have the was scepter, we have the loaf of bread, and the nut glyph. So this spells waset. Now at the top, I don't know what was written. Because we have two loaves of bread, it might have been Nesupiti. Then we have Neb Tawi. And then we have Men Keper Ra. Now, we can see that there's a bird, but I don't know which one it is. I wonder if it's the duck. I don't think it will be the Huelchik, but there we have Med F or Medi F. And here we can see it's an ibis because of the beak. So Jehuti. Here we have the tree fox skin. We don't really see the top. So that's Jehuti mess. And here we probably have the standard that Jehuti is standing on. And here we have Heka. And there I'm not really sure which glyph was there. Here we can see this is the cone of bread, even though we don't have the top. Then we have the Jed. Here we have Ra. So most likely somewhere here we have Mira. And here, this is just a single stroke. And then we have the cobra and the loaf of bread. So that's Jet. And even this is part of the spelling of Jet, even though this glyph here doesn't have any phonetic value. King Thutmose III, preceding the goddess Satet, and followed by the ram-headed god Khnum, which resides in Elephantine. I don't know if you remember the video where I showed you Sankara. Not trying to say that this is the same as Thomas Sankara, but it's in that area. Actually, I think it's left of this artifact, but it's that small room here, not far from where we see all these large columns, But in the latest video, I showed you exactly where to go to see it. So it's a king that was called Sankara. We have Osir at the middle. This looks like Heru, and this must be the king. The god Osiris, between his son Horus, with the head of a falcon and a king. 20th dynasty, question mark, between 1100 and 1069 BC, made of granite, reference A12. Now this one as well is very nice for people who practice, who have recently started learning the Medu nTr. Now, just like earlier, we have nTr and nTr, but with this time we can see the top. Then we have Sahara. Then we have the folded cloth, the leg, the basket with the handle that gives us Sebek. And then we have the offering table or the altar with the two phonetic complement of the loaf of bread and the stool. And then we have the Ankh jet. And indeed, the description says relief of a chapel built by the king Sebek Hotep around 1700 BC. And it was found in Abydos. Name, dates, and places. Now, I've been going for an hour. There's no participation. So let me wait to see if some people want to ask questions or, make some statements. And if not, then I'll call it a day for today, Let me know what's up. Don't be shy. You can use the chat. You can ask about the Medu nTr. You can ask about Kemetic culture, or African culture in general, or history in general, or current events, recent news. Feel free. Sometimes I'm in a flowing mode, so I'll flow for a little while. But sometimes, I'd rather have some interaction. Hi there, Road. I was just enjoying your breakdown. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. Kemetic culture. We have so many people who talk about Kemet, man. You never see them read any glyph or mentioning any Kemetic terms except for names of rulers. Sometimes they talk about some alleged Kemetic terms. We don't know where they got that from. With all those different artifacts that you have seen, let me change the sound here. I'll put this one. With all the different artifacts that we have seen, we've seen the dates. It's so recurrent. 1500 BC, 1700 BC, 2000 BC. And sometimes we have, 500 BC. But it's safe to say that most of the artifacts that we have seen so far are, around 1200 BC and more and older than that, you see. These are the guys, these are the organizations, these are the Abrahamic or religious groups. Have they shown you any artifacts for the time periods that they are addressing? You need to really think about that. Now, I want to have another one. Have they shown you anything? Hi, wrote came in not too long ago, so not sure what you were doing. I was just going through artifacts from the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. Just showing it to the brothers and sisters. So, those different organizations, have they shown you any ancient artifacts? The people who tell you, oh, we come from this and that tribe, or, we are labeled this and that. This is our title, this is our story. Those are our prophets, those are our patriarchs. Have they shown you any artifacts? So where do they get their stuff from? We've heard about Ramesses II. And we have seen Ramesses II. And we have seen his name written. And there are so many other artifacts with his name. He is attested historically. Not like so many other individuals, or should I say characters. So next time, feel free to ask them, brother, sister, the events or the individuals that you are talking about, are they documented in history? Oh yeah, sure. Would you mind showing me? Yeah, I'll look it up. Yeah, let me look for it. Oh, I don't have it now. I'll bring it to you later on. Press them the next time. They will try to act like they forgot. And when I say press them, don't hold your breath. Don't lose sleep over it. But I want you, brothers and sisters, to recognize we're talking about ancient history. Now I know some smart one will say, "Whoa, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence." Yeah, all right. You go ahead with that. You go ahead with that. Just like the people who say, race is a social construct. During all those centuries, race was something. Now they try to say race doesn't exist. It's no longer convenient. But if race is a social construct, does it mean that a Caucasian that wears a cap backwards, wears baggy jeans, talk Ebonics, would it be labeled as a black person? So the main thing is, ask them for records. Some might tell you that records don't matter, that it doesn't have any importance. Well, then how can we establish the claims? Our brother Haile has joined us. Hotep Sen. Hotep Sen, how you doing?
Oh, I'm trying to do better.
Oh, not doing so well.
No, I'm just every day is the same for me. Not the world is not doing so well, so I feel the world.
Okay.
It's a lot of things happening all over the world that it's not very good. So I don't want to party while everybody's having misery. You know, I mean, it is a balance, but I think we pretend to be happy too much. You know, yeah. So I just find it problematic. So when I say how am I doing, when people ask me, I'm trying to do better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I used to say not too bad. But I stopped. I stopped trying to be more optimistic.
Yeah, well, I'm been optimistic. How can you say, um, um, be prepared for the worst, but hope for the better.
Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Yeah. So in other words, don't take anything for granted.
Yes.
hmm Yeah, because like I said, there's a lot of betters out there. But yeah, I was just enjoying your little breakdown there because I'm reading it, especially the glyph that you said when you spoke about what was it, Kemet.
Yes,
Um,
the
uh,
Cam glyph, the I6 glyph.
yeah, that was lost among so many things. Like you said, it's a bit hard to tell.
Yes,
So,
yeah, you have to be used to it, and but with practice, people will get there. Really,
for real, practicing perfect makes you perfect.
hmm Practice makes perfect.
No,
Even
no, no.
Michael Jordan.
Practicing perfectly makes you
hmm
perfect.
Makes it perfect. Yes. I mean, even Michael Jordan. There's a documentary that I've seen, and he used to be on the bench. He used to be on the
hmm
bench. He wasn't like so
Superstar.
great, so good, but he practiced. He trained a lot, a
Oh
lot, a lot.
yeah.
And then there was a game where he scored just at the like last second,
Uh huh.
and people put him on more. He was more on the team, and he practiced so much, and he reached that legendary status.
Yeah, his practicing made everybody else around him that much better too.
Yes, it's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
because I mean, he really pulled the Bulls up by the socks and said made them into a championship team.
Mm,
Yes, the Scottie Pippins and Dennis Rodmans and the like. You know.
yes.
Yeah, he really gelled those guys around him. So yeah, to me, a great player is not one on just on an individual level, but is one who could raise up the teammates around him as well to match and to synchronize with him. That in teamwork. You know what I mean?
hmm
That makes sense having a great style when everybody else is mediocre.
It's true. It's true. So the brothers and sisters, they if they take the time, they would get there. They would get there. I was there once.
hmm
Hearing people talking about all these Medu terms, and I wasn't familiar with it, but I happened to read a lot, and it took some time, and I got my level now, so I'm trying to encourage people also to get a level, to get familiar, to get some introduction, you know, and
Right.
try to avoid interpretation, you know, because
Mm.
a lot of people do that.
In other words, ad libbing, but sometimes it's good because sometimes we could see things. I mean, what I mean by that theory is it's not to discount anything, but it's to see what can fit.
hmm
Yeah, what can fit, what might, but you can discard. You know what I mean?
hmm
Um, yeah, because I was thinking just the other day when we was talking about, and I forget the glyph, but we was talking about the mayor of um 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 what's it, Manafa, yeah, the mayor of Manafa. Remember, you was
hmm
talking, you was looking at that glyph, and when I looked at the French, the grand intendant, yeah,
Yes.
of Memphis, yes.
hmm
And it looks then and I forget the actual glyph, but I think it was the hem glyph, yes,
For which word?
for what what his position was in Manafa. But remember because I look when I looked at the in,
Do you remember it was a intendant of what?
of Manafa, he was
Um,
the grand intendant of Manafa. So like I said, the superintendent,
that rings a bell to me, but
yeah, but the glyph was to do with him being in charge,
mhm.
and I forget, is it Emir?
Emir, yes, Emir.
Emir,
Mm.
yes.
But usually you have Emir, and then you have something else like Emir Pair, intendant of the house. or
Yes,
steward. Yes.
yes, yes, and that was, and it said it was the emir the of Memphis or Memphis, yes.
Manafa, yes. Hmm.
And then when I looked at it, said he was must have been the mayor. When I looked at it, and that broke it down again because he wasn't just the superintendent of the house, but the
Hmm.
superintendent of the city. So that put him in a higher position than just an emir of a house per the emir per.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So just thinking like that looking at that from that different point of view sometimes is good,
Hmm.
to get
It's, it's it's important to let it be known. Okay, I think it might be that and make sure that we don't tell um people who are not necessarily in the known. Okay, that's what it is.
no, for real, for real.
Yes,
No,
because
that's
some
what I'm saying.
people.
The possibilities, because
Yes.
there's always possibilities. Because like I
Oh
said,
yes, yes, indeed.
we're trying to decipher as we go along. We're trying to figure out as we go along. Because for
Hmm.
me, like when I look at the glyphs and as we've been looking at things, I'm saying, well, okay, but that is possible. But then there's a lot of the possible question marks left around. Because even like when we was talking about the emir, that same term, and when
Yes,
we
in
looked,
Arabic.
yes, yes, and then we got down to the admiral. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah, that is that's what I'm saying. The possibilities,
Hmm.
yeah, the possibilities. Then that the Arabs did come into Africa
Hmm.
at one point in time, and the borrowing is always there. You know,
Yes.
and it could go both ways as well. I mean, how can it's the exchange of words, the exchange of languages.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was very interesting in the exploring of the Medunata.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's some very interesting stuffs. But
Indeed.
like you said, don't want to go overboard. But there are definite connections that we have to appertain to because, like I said, it's a lot because there are many glyphs left on. How can I say undeciphered? I would put it like that because there's how many glyphs are there?
Well, for the Middle Egyptian, um, Obzomo says that there's about 800 glyphs, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So that's
But I mean, the number of glyph really varies uh, depending on the scholars. I think some people forgot if somebody said that it's up to 5,000 glyphs. The Greek and the Roman they seem to have added a fair bit, but
but that's up in the
I like to say about
Ptolemaic time.
well, okay, actually, it's not really 800 to be honest. Now
Hmm.
that I remember, I think Obzomus says that in order to read the Middle Egyptian, you need to know about 800 glyphs. But I'm gonna try to find the quote.
Mm.
Uh,
That's a lot of glyphs to memorize.
oh no, 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 no. Now he says, okay, I'll take the French version. Take the French version. So it's always good to double check because sometimes you don't quote properly, and
Hmm.
so um, okay. Now in the French version, introduction. Where is it? I just had it just a minute ago. No, so it must be after then. It was on the left, wasn't it? Oh yeah, okay. So if I try an English version there after, so that's introduction. So we should have this, this. Okay. So um, page 18 of Hieroglyphic Egyptian by Claude Obzomer. Hieroglyphic writing underwent a certain evolution over the centuries. During the classical period, the hieroglyphic system functioned with nearly 800 signs, the most important of which, approximately 200, will be dealt with specifically in this book.
Mm.
Hieroglyphs tended to increase in number during the Greco Roman period, numbering several thousand.
Yes. Wow. So they was making stuff up as they would. I mean, when you say during the Greco-Roman period, I mean, was that because they brought in what? What did they bring in? New concepts or different words
Um,
that you know what I mean? I mean, why would it go up that high?
well, they probably came up with new words, but um, it's strange that they would add so many glyphs because you would think they had enough glyphs.
It
But
sounds seems to me, unless they was like I said, they was adding new concepts, or they was because they was bringing in new concepts, then they had to. I mean, when they say they, I don't think that the Greeks or the Romans was doing it. The Ptolemies or the Romans were doing it. They're scholars. I think would have to be the ones that would know these things. In other words, unless they was just like I said, making it up as they went along.
mm,
But to me, the because of the nature of these things, it was not. It was hard for it to be just concrete. In other words, this is that because for me, the different glyphs would present different ideas when you combine them. You know, that not only would they make different words, but they would make different concepts through those words. But which is what words are anyhow.
hmm.
That's how I think
It's
about such
rich.
things.
It's a rich history. I mean, uh, I would like to be familiar with the Greek, so the Coptic would be easy because it's just Greek letters. The addition of seven letters that don't exist in the Greek that actually derive from the Demotic,
Hmm.
but there's only so much time I have and so much support I have, so it's something that I'm really looking forward to. But I need
It's
to have some, I need to have some support and have enough people interested. Otherwise, I feel like I could spend so much time to learn the Greek, but then again, if there's no interest, what's the point? I
well,
don't do
it's
everything I do for people, but this is an effort that
for
that
real,
I
for
want
real.
to benefit just not me. You see, so I'll see, I'll see.
Well, back in the day, people we don't realize that, but a lot of back in the day, a lot when I say back in the day, back in centuries past, people, scholars and musicians have patrons. I'll put it like that there.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? Whereas they would be
and not
paid
just yes,
for
not just
doing that.
musicians, but artists like painters.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
different scholars and painters, artists, and
mhm,
different fields. They would actually have patrons that
yes,
they could, so they could actually devote, like you're saying, devote that time to. Whereas you have to have what you got to do, and you gotta, do what you got to do. But so you can't take all your resources and devote
yeah,
it towards to, towards learning these things.
yeah,
And like you said, so you gotta work, and then you gotta make that work pay for everything else.
yes,
So yeah, that is a difficult task. So, but this it's interesting how this these things are actually generating some type of financing. It's very interesting. Of course, some people like listening to some that earlier on. Some people get paid more for trash talking. You know,
yeah. I
I'm
mean, things like that. It attracts a lot of people, but it's just up to okay, is it something you want to do or not? And I don't really feel like it, but controversy it sells, it attracts people,
well,
and
I think I'm just curious, Shaka. I mean, you are what you grow. You know what I'm saying? So if that is the consciousness of the community, in other words, if that's the way the consciousness of the community is being guided, because I always think of nurture rather than nature.
Hmm.
You know, so I'm saying your nature goes towards what you nurtured. So in other words, we have that dual personality where we could go this way or go that way. So the emphasis being placed on the negative, yeah, it gets more 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 play
More, yeah,
than
more attention.
the positive. You know what I mean? So people, so the world is geared towards the negative.
Yes.
So when you bring up the positive, it's like not really.
Hmm.
You know.
Not exciting.
Exactly. But then we get all this confusion. And but then we're complaining about the confusion that it does, type of confusion it does bring, the negative attention, the negative feelings, the Mars murders, and all sorts of things. Like you said, not to because I don't. Everybody says, "Oh, well, you think it was a utopia?" I didn't think it was a utopia. I think back before all the invasions, the people was much more in tune with trying to live ma'at. And what I mean by that, there is not just in Africa or in Egypt or in Kemet, but everywhere you went, the people was trying to live in a more harmoniously with creation and themselves. It just
Yeah,
seems
and
to me.
you mentioned mass killing. I mean, um, there was, I think there was two recently in America.
Yes.
Um, but there was one also is it in Denmark? Yeah, I think it was in Denmark in Copenhagen. The funny thing is that I
Mm.
saw on the news they showed the shopping center where it happened, and we've been there.
Wow.
My wife and daughter, because I went to the Copenhagen Museum. Well, actually, there's
Right.
not one. There's a couple. There's a couple.
Seeing.
There's one that's called like Glyptotek or Glyptoteket, and then there's a National Museum. So National Museum, obviously, you have different collections, including the ancient Egyptian. But the Glyptoteket is like, if I'm not mistaken, it's a museum where they have like it's dedicated to ancient Egypt. Um,
That's funny.
so um, yeah, we went there for a few days, and we went to that shopping center. I mean, it's not really the type of country where those things happen, but America is just number one.
No.
Every so often somebody snaps and decides to
Hmm.
just shoot so many people. It's just
No.
weird.
But like I said, I tell you before, even in Bermuda, we had some shootings the other day.
Mm,
Knife, I feel
mm.
deaths. Knife. People get
But
knife.
but like they don't really target like uh, civilians, like it's like probably certain groups against certain groups, or gangs against gangs, or whatever, mafia people or whatever. But not to say it's good, but
Just well, from like I said, that's where I was going. Is that that mindset of badness
mm,
permeates the globe, and so and what I mean by that theory is there is a lot of good things happening, but that's not what is highlighted more often than not. More hype is placed upon the badness, and so to me, that's what I'm saying is nurturing of a nature. Because it's not that the good things ain't happening. I don't think we're focusing on those good things. So we get these bad things more into the psyche. You know what I mean? So that's how I think about that. And so then we complain. I would say the churches and this and that, um, um, doing this work here that you're doing. Um, that is not what's promoted so much. And when I say the churches, I'm saying the churches, the churches do what they're doing, but to me, that is not that's not dealing with truth. This is to me, this is dealing with truth because, as you said, the evidence of these things is here. So we could look, and like you said, you was up in Copenhagen, and you got two different museums, right? that have ancient artifacts in them from out of Africa. And everywhere you go, you're looking at these ancient artifacts from out of Africa. So I'm saying, well, okay, so all around the place, you have these ancient artifacts from out of Africa. And so if you took all those things and put them back in Africa, how much museums would they fill up and how much would they empty? What would people have to go to look at around the world?
Unfortunately, those artifacts will not go anywhere. Sometimes Ethiopia managed to get some stuff
Hmm.
from Italy, if I'm not mistaken. There was one obelisk, and there might have been some other artifacts.
Hmm.
Uh, Sometimes a few artifacts will be given to a country. Like
Yeah.
Egypt has been asking for a few artifacts, particularly the so-called Nefertiti bust, which is anonymous. You know, they really want to have it because it's so famous. But for the most part, those artifacts are not going to go anywhere. You know,
Oh, very
yeah.
true. Very
Mm,
true. But I think, and I personally, I think that is part of the negative aspects of the world
mm,
because here you have I'm gonna put it like here you have in every country you go in, there's a law against stealing.
yes.
Yes. There's a law against stealing. Any country you go in, there's a law against stealing. If you steal something, you're going to go to jail. But then on the other hand, we have all of these artifacts which was clearly stolen, especially considering the time that it was taken from out of Africa. It was an accident. It wasn't like you was going around an accident. Hey, can I have this? Let me buy this from you. Oh, how much
Yeah.
this? It
But they're so
wasn't like that
smooth.
there.
They're
It
so
wasn't
smooth.
like that there.
They would say it wasn't stolen; it was acquired. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly. All of that.
like slavery. Um, in England, when people were pushing for reparations, the answer was, no, because at the time slavery was legal. So because it was legal, then it's all good. But
You
it
know,
is what
that's
it
what I'm
is.
saying. That's why I say about this mentality that we have that permeates things, and we try to say, oh well, we're doing the best we can do about it, but it doesn't surprise me that we're doing bad because how you say, when you say, well, okay, I'm justifying this because of that, but you're justifying wrong, so then that has a ripple on effect. That's what I'm saying about the ancient world. They was not trying to justify wrongs. I didn't see that. You know what I mean? They wasn't looking to say, oh well, this is how can I say collateral damage.
Mhm.
That wasn't the case. I don't think. I think they was living and trying to live in harmony with nature because it wasn't until the last 500 years that nature has been destroyed the way that it has done. So we
Yeah.
had how many thousands of years, people all over the world living for many, many, many years with the technology, but then in the last 500 years, because people came along and decided to do whatever they did, and we
Mhm.
have the world that we have today. And with
And
it,
and mhm.
yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
brother. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying with it, we have, like I said, the mentality that goes along with it.
Yeah, it's destroying nature, and the people who suffer the most out of it is like actually the impoverished country, so-called third world country. It's cause for a lot of natural disaster, droughts, and stuff like that. Uh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, but we just have to adapt. That's always how it's been.
Well, but
But
what else can you do? It's what
yeah,
we all
there's
believe.
nothing else. It's adapt or die,
Yeah. But like I said,
adapt or perish.
the positive things, like you said, these things hurt. Trying to learn these things hurt. These are the positive things. Hopefully that will catch on and turn things around. Because I heard that people.
Hello.
Right. Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, it was breaking up. So you said you heard that?
I was saying, what was I talking about? I'm talking about how, like I said, just doing these things here towards the positive could set things back positive.
Hmm.
Just to because, like I said, it's the the um the negative is always out there, doing
Yes.
whatever, but the positive, like trying to do the positive, is not always out there.
Mm.
But the endeavors have to be made because there are more, like I said, more and more people are trying to get back to truths, you know. So yeah, that to me is always a positive thing. But like I said, when we look around the world, we're not the major focus is always, of course, like on the sensational, and the sensational is more often than not is people killing, people murdering, people raping, pillaging, and plundering. But like I said, that's the foundation of the society that we have adapted to already, and so we have to like change it somehow. Because I heard, like I said, a lot of people doing some interesting stuff, but like I said, things like what you're doing, encouraging people to do is very positive.
Mhm. And really, I mean, I would love to take it further. The vision that I have is just, but you need like-minded people, and the realities are, so self-proclaimed Kemetic people, there's so many, but people who, really want to learn the culture and and um, and deal with like-minded people, that's something else. And as you can see, just people showing their face, it's a challenge, but that's the way it is. Over time things will change, the mentalities will change, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere, and we do have so much confusion as to who we are and what our past was. We have those who say that we were Moors, those who say we were Muslim, that Muhammad, the Arabs of the 7th century were black, those who say that well, Hebrews were like the Moses and Jesus were black, and I mean, we we are all over the place, but
Mhm.
with methodology, we will get some clarity. But some people are in denial. Some people are
Oh yeah,
in
for real.
denial. No matter what you present to them, uh, but that's just the way it is. And at some point, people gonna have to realize that there's a time where we need to be selective. We cannot
Hmm.
just accept anything because it is said by black folks. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just say some nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And then ultimately, even though it's not really booming like it was, but the metaphysics, it is
Mm.
something. It has turned many of our brothers and sisters, into straight pseudos. And it's not as big as it used to be, but it is still there.
Well, I think people have even take because I don't think people actually understand words.
Mm.
They take a word and turn words mean things, but then words have definitions. And I just told this to somebody the other day, and actually I heard Rabon saying this here actually said that, oh, false etymology, a word doesn't no longer mean what a word means because of how it's being used. And I said, well, hold it a minute. You can change a word's usage, right? The definition of a word through how it's being used, but the meaning of the word never changes. It never changes. You can have more than one definition for a word, but the meaning of the word never ever changes. From the beginning, it has that same vibration, right? But you say, oh, well, etymologically, the word changes. No, etymology means the origin, the
Yes.
source of the word, yeah,
Mm.
when it came into use and how long it's used and how it's being used,
Hmm.
and the meaning of it, but which never changes. But I thought that was very interesting because I think it was in a debate he was having with Jabari, and well, it wasn't a debate, it was a sit down they
Yes.
was doing, and yeah, he was very emphatic. And what he read that, I said, well, I heard it. They are really even changing what etymology is now. it's it is really interesting how to force your point that people would actually change what meanings of words. Not even like, not even mean like etymology. How you can change etymology? you know, say, oh well, the words don't mean all this stuff nowadays. It's changed its meaning. No, the word never changes meaning. The way you use it may change, but that word is you talking about race early on. Race didn't have nothing to do with people at one point in time. It came in at a certain point in time to speak about people. But and for me, like because we're using the language is very funny to me because race was a race course. In other words, the riverbed that the water ran through. That's what they call a race, right? Then they have a track. So then you have run the race on the track, and
Hmm.
then you have the red race, which is what we're living now, right? How they, and so what they changed, and then it became involved with people now. Now, like I said, they changed it to take about the physical different physical traits of people, right? And like you said, and that's where the artificial the construct comes in, because how they say surface, but which is not just surface, because that has to be in the blood. The way that we are, black people, white people, and other people, because you use the term Caucasian,
Hmm.
which is not a real term for white people.
Yeah,
It's
brother said that a few times when he came on the live stream. But when I use Caucasian, I mean personally, I use it, to describe a white skinned person who basically
right,
that
for real.
originated from the Caucasus Mountain. But the other brother was kind of, saying that, Caucasian. I think he was saying that Caucasian is like black people, but he had this explanation,
No,
but
not black people.
I
But
mean, I think that's what he was trying to say, or
for,
but like, I,
you
I went to the dictionary,
right,
and
right.
he has a point though when it comes to the etymology, but
Yes.
I think
But that was
he
coined.
was, yeah. Hmm.
But that was coined by the this German scientist we was talking about the other day, back in a certain point, and Bloomberg, I think his name was, and he got certain skulls from different people,
Oh,
right? They
is he
used
the one
certain
who
skulls.
coined the term Caucasian?
Yes, yes, because
Okay.
what happened, he said
Oh,
when he
Bloom. I thought Greenberg, Bloomberg.
yes, that guy there. So when he looked at the skulls, he said the most perfect one to him was the one that came from the Caucasus Mountains, say coated white. But what made me smile, right? 'Cause I didn't understand that. But what made me smile was, remember the Boston bombing that time? Was during the marathon, and was not too long ago. Well, I'm saying not too long ago because I'm fairly older than. But anyhow, do you remember that was a Boston bombing at one time?
Yeah, I remember.
Right. And the commentators were saying, "Oh, they're from the Caucasus." So, but we be call them white. Now, these are some Europeans, right? American guys.
Mm.
So we call them white. No, no, no. We call them off white. That's what they said, right?
Mm.
Because they weren't trying to they weren't trying to put them in the same family range.
Mm.
They was making them off white outside the family range, which is what happened with Hitler, when the people
Mm.
told, "Oh, well, would we call those people white that he was killed? Was it an ethnic cleansing? Was it a racial thing?" And um, um, they did not look at that time at the Jews as being white. They looked at them as being non-white. I'm not going
Mm.
to say black. I'm
Yes, of
definitely going to
course.
say non-white,
Yes.
right? And
Mm.
and and they were and the illusion was that they was more black than white, as they was called Jews. Looking at the I guess maybe they're talking about the length of time they stayed in Africa, they must have turned white and black, but now they changed. But anyhow, that whole term of what white is, whiteisms, it is a moving target at best. That's why we have in North Africa, there's people over there are considered to be white, as black
Yes.
as they are.
The, well, as black as I don't know, but North Africa is the Maghreb region is really populated by white skin or pale skin people. Now there are a few black people, it's true, but for the
Okay,
most part they are white people, and
for
and
real.
and and, and a lot of our people in America they really feel like there's a rapper French Montana,
Yes.
I think he's from Morocco, and
Ah,
he might also be from Somalia or some other country in Africa. But he speaks Arabic. He's from Morocco. So the way he
right.
looks, his appearance,
Yes.
that's the way I
Yes.
would say the majority of people from North Africa, the Maghreb region, look
And they
like.
was they was killed off. But no, I'm gonna say, right? I said as black as you are, because I said if you have a Egyptian passport, right? I'm saying Egyptian passport because this is a case, this is a lawful case, right? Brother came here in the 80s, I suppose, to America, right?
Yeah, he
Was
was
it
labeled as
he's
white,
a
and
teacher? Yes, he was a
yeah,
teacher.
yeah.
He's been fighting lawfully.
Hmm.
not to be labeled as white.
Yeah, I remember
But,
that guy.
but
Yeah.
yes, but lawfully, the people of Egypt and certain other places are termed white.
Mm,
So I thought it was, she says, hey, 1 minute, because like when he first came, he wasn't realizing what was going on, of course. But when he became when acculturated, he said, hey, 1 minute, I'm not white. Look at
mm,
me, I'm not white. Look at me, I'm
mm,
not white. Look, I'm not white, right?
mm,
And he was in the court fighting to be recognized as not white
mm,
because his passport saying Egyptian because Egyptians is labeled they ain't taking it. I'm not having it. If you're Egyptian, you're white. I mean the difference what you look like. So like that's what I'm saying. So white is a very and that's what they said. They said no matter how dark the Egyptians look, they were not negroid. In other words, they were not south of the border. they was,
yeah.
you know, they was not related to those people because they was not white. They was
Mm,
not black. And I just said that that's that whole construct of what people are being labeled as. And you mentioned the term more just now, and that even still that's what I'm talking about misinformation, labels and labels and labels. Because like I said, when you go to England and during the Shakespeare's time, and the term was black or more, right? Shows you that the term Moor meant black because the term was black as a Moor, you know. So, so that whole construct of and when you talk about Morocco and the people there, a lady from Morocco said that Moors can be white, and I thought that was very interesting. That she said that. But when I looked at the like 1811 diction encyclopedia, that's what they said that the Moors were white. And the people that you said was around the Maghreb, as you said, they were white. They was considered to be white too, as well.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. Although they have changed that designation now, but once things is out there, it's hard to pull it back. You
Yes,
know.
it's true.
Yeah, yeah. So that's very. I just thought that was very interesting when you said that the construct of race, and I say yeah because the rat race is a real thing, but is there anything is ain't no rats running that race.
Mm,
Talking about us living in this world, you know. I'm trying to survive and adapt, as you said early on, adapt to
yeah.
the change and the fluctuations. It's very interesting how a little bit of that's why I said getting back to this Imaginata, it is very good because I'm discovering these things here and revitalizing the energy of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, and it's a great tool. And a lot of time I hear people say, "Oh, Kemet fail," like
Kemet foul. Yes,
yeah,
yes, 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 yes.
and then they say Kemet fail because this, because that. I mean, it's interesting to me that some people are able to say, "Okay, this is why Kemet fail," and so on, but they don't have any solution that they cannot manifest, you know, uh, that much success. And if it doesn't happen, it might be because they say, "Well, I have a way, but people don't want to get into that way, so it doesn't work." I mean, it's a bit all over the place, but I mean, I've addressed that, failing thing. I could talk about some, I don't want to repeat myself. I'm
What
trying to be diplomatic, but
the debate between vocab Malone and
Tahuti.
MVP
Oh,
Harris,
Anthony. Oh, yeah.
Chris Harris.
Mm,
In that debate, that white guy said something that I thought was totally, totally, totally disingenuous. Because when you read the history of, because he said the Maginata was lost,
yeah.
but no, Maginata was forcibly stopped. It wasn't lost under penalty of death even. Yeah, to practice to learn these things, to disseminate these things. It wasn't lost. The Romans by decree forbade the usage of it. So you can't say that it was just run out of use because of without explaining what it is. So I said, but if you look at the history, then you would can never use the term lost. But that's
Well,
just the redacting of history by the white people that say, oh well, if Kemet fell, it didn't fall. You people came and time after time after time after time, conquering and looking to conquer. Sambises came in there and devastated. You know.
and I like the term conquered because, like, let's say we chilling, some people come with heavy weaponry,
Uh huh.
and they we are subjugated, and then we
Hmm.
talk almost to say, oh, we fail because we didn't do that. Come on, we got conquered. You know,
Yeah.
this is what it is. It's not that
That's
we
the reality.
fail, because
No.
saying we, if we say we fail, it's like we did something wrong.
Yes, exactly. But
You know,
we were her
oh,
mind our business.
Kemet should have had an army there and an army here and an army there, but if people gang up on you, then that's it. You know what I'm saying?
But nobody says that when people's homes get invaded.
Mm.
They're not saying this about Ukraine right now.
Yeah, they're not saying Ukraine failed. Ukraine should have had a bigger army. They should have bigger planes. And I mean, come on, man. But it's all good. It's all good. You know,
It's just
the
the
the the,
redaction
na-
of it.
the native Americans, they failed, right?
Yeah.
The Aboriginals in Australia, they failed. I mean,
Hmm.
come on, man. We can just go
All
on about
all
this, but
over. All over
But
the
anyway,
elect.
brother, I'm
Same
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna put it into the last stream.
No
Thank you
worries.
very much for stopping by. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I just feel to come on. Like I said, I was just here chilling, and I
Mm.
was a bit tired, but I said, well, let me just come on for a couple of minutes and say hi to the brethren.
It's a good look, brother. It's a
Yeah,
good
I
look.
mean, yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of the evening, blood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
I
Same to
know
you.
it's late. It's a bit latish over there.
Yeah, it's gonna be one a.m. soon.
Yes. Good night, man. Hotel.
Yeah, thank you, Hotep said. So, brothers and sisters, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to, by the nature of the world, definitely holler back at you, Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more. I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hana Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. it's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know like our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Netra class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.